100% Chance of Wine, sponsored by The Lodge at Columbia Point.
Today on 100% Chance of Wine, we made our way out to Dineen Vineyards out at Zillah. And I'm joined by Marissa. You guys have such an extensive background, generational vineyard. Tell me more about how this got started in the first place.
Absolutely. So my father grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and he always loved that lifestyle, but he pursued a career in banking, so he got his hands a little bit less dirty, and that's what brought him to the Northwest. But he always had a passion for wine and food and family, and so that brought him back to farming and agriculture, and we established these vineyards about 20 years ago, and we currently have about 75 acres under vine.
So you started off with what, just 12 acres?
Yes, we did. Absolutely. Just a stone's throw away from where we are now, and then a year later we planted this vineyard where we are today.
So you have your mom and your dad. What were the memories like growing up here with, them starting off the vineyard? I know you probably weren't too small when this happened, but what, 2002?
2002, yeah. So I was in college at that point, and it was always fun to come from the city over here because the weather's always nicer, the views are spectacular. It's just a slower pace of life, and you really have time to slow down, enjoy your company, and just enjoy all the bounty that is the Yakima Valley.
What was so important to them when creating this vineyard?
Well, really, I think there's three things. One is a sense of history. So my parents really value family, so they wanted to establish a vineyard that was honoring the family. So our first 12-acre vineyard is named after my grandmother, Catherine. And then every block that we have on both of the properties is named after a family member.
Obviously, this lay of the land is beautiful, someone coming up here. Tell me more about the piece of property for someone who's maybe not visited for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're one of the higher vineyards in the Yakima Valley. And because of that, we have stunning views over the vines, over the Yakima Valley. You can see it right here. You can see Mount Rainier and Mount Adams, and today is a particularly clear and beautiful day, and they are just shining bright.
And your vineyards itself, they're hand-picked, or what particulars do they do when they come out and pick the grapes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a boutique vineyard, so we pride ourselves on the quality. We use those in our own wines, but we also sell to many esteemed boutique winemakers in Washington State. So everything for the most part is done by hand. So, you see sorting tables in movies where people are picking bad clusters. We do that in the field so that the grapes, when they're picked, they're ready to rock and roll.
And I also love to have a truck, and it's kind of the symbol of the winery. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, my father grew up on a farm, and his father had a 1950 pickup truck, and he bought one of those when he established his vineyard because it just reminded him of his youth. And so that's kind of our symbol. It's on our labels, and it's just a way that we think about the family heritage as we move forward with new techniques here, and always kind of on the cutting edge.
Did you guys have any, complications when it came to with COVID and this last year that maybe you took a hit and that you're kind of coming out of now?
Absolutely. So I think one of the special things about our vineyard and our winery is the site. And so we've always really been focused on visitors at the winery. And so when we got into COVID and that channel was shut for us, we had to really think, how do we get our wine to our loyal customers? So we started a website, so you can find us on the web now, and also a wine club. So after 20 years, we finally started a wine club.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, and that's been great because we had, a lot of people coming out of the closet that we knew that we had forgotten about, and they're members now.
And so going forward, any other changes that you're going to be adding to maybe the vineyard or the winery itself?
Well, one of the things that we're most excited about is with 2020, we're launching a new style of our label. We've redesigned it. It's really attractive, so we'll show you a picture of that. And I think also just kind of changing our hospitality. We want to grow a little bit more. We want to increase our food offering, things like that, so that when people come to visit us, they really have a special experience.
All right, perfect. Well, let's try some of this, was it Cabernet Sauvignon?
Cabernet Sauvignon. Cheers.
Cheers to you.